All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Build with the CEO. I'm your resident CEO, Trevor, and I'm here with Coach Catalyst and super excited about what we're doing today. Before we get into it, we got some fun things that I'm learning about the platform. Little tunage going. So Riverside has these really cool kind of media things that I've been playing with in here. So for those of you that do any of this stuff, I'm using Riverside right now, which I've been pretty happy with. It's been great, and I'm able to stream it directly to my Facebook group, also stream it into our YouTube channel. It records it. And so if you're ever thinking about creating media, this is I think a really good platform, so something cool to check out. I don't get anything from Riverside, but I thought I would just share with you guys what we're doing. Another cool thing, fun things that I'm learning, if you are a Mac user and you've updated to the new Mac iOS, the iPhone mirroring is awesome, by the way. Awesome, where I can show my iPhone right on my screen and control it with my mouse, which has been awesome when we've been doing demos with Coach Catalyst and that kind of thing. So if you're ever viewing things, before we had to use like QuickTime or Zoom and show it all that way, now I can like show my whole screen and have my phone on one side. Super cool. Another really cool thing is the Chrome browser. I don't know if this is just iOS or Chrome in general, but now I can do like side by side. I can do up and down. I can do 4 in a screen, where I can have like 4 browsers in a screen, which is super cool. Especially if I'm, doing stuff like this and I need to see that it's streaming places. So yeah, fun stuff. Cool. All right, let's get to it. So today we are talking all about paid ads. Today's talk is about paid ads. And really the first piece of this is like, should we do paid ads? Because like paid ads can be a game changer if we can get it figured out. Just curious for people that are live, and feel free to comment if you want. Are you doing paid ads? Yes or no? Just drop it in the comments. I'd love to know if you are currently employing paid ads. And then if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about doing paid ads, the goal today is to give you a little bit of insight, give you some food for thought, some stuff to think about if you are thinking about going that route, because paid ads aren't necessarily a panacea. Meaning, whoa, I just lost a bunch of stuff. My monitor went out and we're back. I think I can hear me, but I can't see me. All right. I'm going to need to stop this recording and come back. I will be back in a second so I get my video back. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Build with the CEO. I'm super excited to be here with you on a Tuesday, my fellow coaches. This is take 2, but we're going to get it figured out. In take 1, we talked about some cool little tools that I'm using that may be helpful for you, but you'll have to find take 1 to get that stuff. So today we're talking about paid ads. Paid ads, who should do it and why it's a game changer. That's really what we're thinking about. I don't think everyone should be doing paid ads. You need to get to a certain level before you're starting to do some paid ad stuff. So we're going to break all that down today, because as a coach, right, you feel like you've got the skills, you've got the program, right, but really nobody knows about you. And organic can take some time to be able to generate some real meaningful results. That's one of the reasons why I talk a lot about in-person stuff and partnerships, borrowed audiences, like I talked about last week. I think when you're new, those are quicker ways to a business than just posting on the internet, right? And so those can be some good ways to get started, but paid can be a piece of the puzzle. But there are some things that you kind of need to get figured out first. So the big question, right? The first big question is, should we be running paid ads? Like, so that's number one. Who should be running paid ads? So here's a few things where I think these are some boxes that you should be checking around paid ads before we jump the gun and start throwing a bunch of money at Meta and all of these other places. So number one is like a proven offer. Like, do you have a proven offer, right? Have people purchased this offer, right? How difficult was it for those people to purchase the offer? Because if we don't really have an offer yet, it's going to be hard to run paid ads towards that offer, right? A lot of people think about the offer like a 6-week challenge, right? That is that's an offer, right? And it speaks to a specific person, and it was very successful in the gym world for a long time. And I would argue that it's still fairly successful in the gym world. And so, do you have a proven offer? Are you able to offer that? Are people buying the offer? That's really what it comes down to. And that's where sometimes getting in person and having a few sales calls, are people buying the offer? After you work with a few test clients, are you able to sell them into something afterwards? We really got to figure that out first, right? And along with that offer comes the audience, right? Who is the audience that we're serving? Do we have a clearly defined audience, right? Or are we still trying to figure some of that stuff out? So if we answer no for either of those, then like paid ads just aren't a good idea yet. And that's okay, right? We just need to figure some things out first before we move into paid ads. And the reason this has kind of popped into my head recently is I've had a few calls and a few conversations on Coach Cal's office hours around paid ads, and a couple coaches were talking about, hey, I need to run paid ads and this or that, and we really got into it, and they weren't super clear on their audience. The offer was kind of like wishy-washy, and so that's just a recipe for disaster, right? Because if we are running, let's call it Facebook marketing, meta marketing, right? Or so that's Instagram and Facebook. That's what we would call like interruption-based marketing, meaning you're scrolling your feed and all of a sudden like there's a sponsored ad, right? And so the headline has to be great. It needs to speak directly to someone's pain point. That person needs to be aware that they have a pain point right now to then dig deeper and then to eventually purchase. And so there's a lot of pieces that need to come together in order for a paid ad to work. Because my guess is a lot of coaches, you're not selling like a $19 widget, right? You're selling a $200, $300, $400, $500 coaching program, if not more than that, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Which the nice thing about when we have a higher ticket type item is we can spend more on advertising, right? A good just kind of general rule is like a 1 to 3, meaning if the lifetime value of a client is, let's say, $3,000, right? We would be willing to spend up to $1,000 to acquire that client. So that could be paid advertising, could be one, could be commissions to an affiliate or something like that. But a 1 to 3 is a fairly healthy margin as far as what it would cost us to acquire a client, and that's called a CAC, customer acquisition cost. That's how we would define it. And the cool thing about most coaching programs is that you have pretty low overhead, right? And so you might even be able to go a little bit higher on that because you just don't have the overhead that brick and mortar and offline clients do. So the next thing, once we've let's say we've checked yes to, hey, we have a great offer. Yes, we have a defined audience. And then it's like, do you have a way to convert leads? So if you have a way to convert leads, a process in place that has been proven, then absolutely we should be looking at an offer. And then the final thing is the coaches that have a little bit of money to spend. Do you have $500 a month that you can spend on advertising? When we're looking at trying to drive people towards offers, a couple bucks a day just isn't going to cut it. You're not going to get it in front of enough people because it is a volume game. So if a coach has a proven offer, if they have a defined audience, they have a way to convert leads, and they have money to spend, then I think paid ads, if you can check those boxes, right? If you can check those boxes, cool. I think you have a green light to start playing with some paid ads. But who shouldn't, right? Who shouldn't? That brand new coach with no really offer clarity or their audience is kind of wishy-washy, right? If you're not willing to test or tweak things, because much of ads is around testing things, testing different media, video versus images, different headline copy, those kind of things. That's paid ads probably aren't a good solution for you. And then also the coach who just kind of wants a $5 a day budget. Like if that's where you're at, then paid ads probably aren't a good idea. And honestly, I would say the vast majority of coaches aren't at a stage where they're ready to run paid ads, which isn't to speak down on anything, but that's just like, where are the pieces? If I needed to run paid ads, which are the pieces would I need to clean up? Is my audience clearly defined? Do I understand their pain points, like at a deep level? Do I have a proven offer? Do I have a way to convert leads? Am I doing it through a sales page? Am I doing it through sales calls? Right. And then do I have a little bit of money to spend? Right. And if you don't check any of those boxes, those are great things to work on from a business standpoint, right? Because that's just going to make every other selling point a little bit easier. So for the coach that is ready to jump into some paid ads, like, here's kind of the reasons why, right? Like, what's in it for you in a way. So like, when you get paid ads figured out, the speed and the scale just happens so much quicker. You can reach so many more people. You can get really targeted with the reach, and eventually you can get to some predictability, because you're knowing how much does it require you to generate a lead. What is your lead conversion, and we can look at all those numbers and see if something is successful. So you potentially have a really good ROI, right? And you have a predictable lead source. So paid ads can be really, really successful. What a lot of people think about paid ads offers. Now, where I think the coach who's newer, who understands their audience and who understands what their offer will be, right? They understand the pain points of their audience. I think where you can really utilize paid ads is not necessarily moving people to that offer, but using it more as like an email list builder is maybe a good way to describe it. And so we're thinking about, can we run some kind of lead generation type of ads where we are giving them a free resource? We are calculating their macros for them. We have a calculator or a quiz that they might be able to utilize. We actually just talked about this on the Supercoach CRM, the sister product to Coach Catalyst call. We were talking about different lead generation strategies. We have like our quizzes, which are great, I think, for coaches, one of the best ones, for clients can fill out a quiz to get, the answer. We have resource guides, kind of a quick done for you something, right? And so you can acquire leads for a lot cheaper. And then if you have a little bit of a conversion process, or maybe they go on your email list and they get dripped out some emails and some text messages and those kind of things, that can be a much cheaper way to acquire than just trying to drive people like the traditional way of like driving people towards a sales page and then hoping that our long form sales copy, right, agitates their pain points and moves them towards ultimately purchasing, where coaching is very relationship driven. And so you could drive people into your email list with something to give away for free, right? Lead gen, quizzes, like I think like a deep health quiz, or it really depends on your market, where like what is really interesting to the people that you serve. And I'll see if I can kind of come up with some examples here. But the deep health one comes to mind, where they're gonna fill out a quiz on maybe these different aspects of health, and then you'll be able to kind of generate a report for them on areas that they might be struggling with. I think that's a really good one. If you're more into like the fitness aspect, it could be almost like a comparison tool where they fill out a number of different things around physical qualities, and then you're going to give them average, below average, above average, something like that, almost like a report card piece, right? If I sell fitness. And so that's where it comes into like, Who am I serving? What are their problems? Can I provide a resource that someone would then exchange, give me their email address to get that resource, which then opens the door to start developing a relationship with that person, right? So at the beginning, I talked a lot about paid ads and moving right towards offers. But I think for the vast majority of coaches, that's not necessarily the best way to go. It's using paid ads as just like a simple lead gen. And then we convert them through email, through trying to get them on a phone call, to text message marketing, those kind of things, which are typically a lot less expensive. They just take time, versus trying to send enough people to a landing page for them to purchase from a landing page. So I think it's a much better strategy, and you can get leads much, much cheaper by trying to drive them to some sort of resource. And if in the perfect world, we would sell some sort of low cost resource, let's say a $9, $19, and that would recoup our ad cost, right? That's like the holy grail, is when you can have a really small front end offer that then pays for the ad costs, which essentially makes the process free, right? Because now I can convert on the back end with whatever means I have at my disposal. Okay. And so that's really where I stand. And I'm curious, for anyone listening right now, feel free to drop it into the chat. Are you running paid ads right now? If you are they working for you? Are they not working for you? Have you thought about it? What questions do you have? A big piece of this show is to also give you an opportunity to be able to ask questions, and hopefully provide some insight into it. And if we don't have any questions, like, that's cool too. So I'll just pause here for a second, just if anyone wants to drop anything in. I'll check all the different chats here. Sweet. Well, just to kind of review, to think about this kind of stuff, paid ads. Before we get to paid ads, here are the things that we want to make sure that we check these boxes. Do we understand who we're talking to, right? Do we understand them at the deepest level? Like, do we understand our audience? Have we interviewed our audience? Have we had some test clients in our audience? Like, do we understand what makes them tick, what their pain points are, and what they're willing to pay for, right? Once we understand that, right? And do we have a core offer? Like, what do we sell? Right? What do we sell? Is it a 21-day this, 28-day that? Is it a 6-month coaching program? Like, what do we sell? What is our offer? Right? And once we have those pieces in place, right, how do we take someone that's interested in what we do and then move them towards an offer? We have to think about that process, right? What does that look like? Do I have email that I would convert them through? Am I driving people to a sales call, and then on that sales call providing a ton of value, and then moving them into our normal coaching program? So what does that look like? The conversion process look like? And then, am I willing to spend a little bit of money? Am I willing to spend $500 a month? 15 to 20 bucks a day. Am I willing to spend that? Okay, cool. Now we check the boxes for paid ads. And if we don't have those boxes checked, go focus on that thing. Go focus on the conversion aspect. Go focus on your audience. Go focus on your offer. Get those things dialed in. Then you can come back to paid ads. And then when you think about paid ads, how do we use it as a lead generation tool, not as a sales tool? And I did a really poor job earlier, like explaining this, where we want to use paid ads as a lead generation tool. So is there something that we can give away, a quiz, a resource, your time, whatever that is, right? Can we give something away in exchange for someone's email address and some information, potentially their phone number, which then allows us to start the kind of quote unquote conversion or relationship building process? They're going on our email list. They go on a specific email sequence with the whole goal of moving them towards potentially a call with us. I like that as probably the best scenario for most coaches, is jumping on a kind of quote unquote sales call, but it's really like a value call, where you're just going to provide a ton of value, solve a problem for them, show them that you can help them get to where they want to get to. And then from there, then we move them into a coaching program. Then it's, is it MasterCard, Visa, or American Express, right? And so thinking about paid ads is more of a lead generation tool. We can get that a lot cheaper rather than as a sales tool. Because in this world, you're not going to drive a ton of sales directly from social media. Just think about how you buy, right? A lot of people will buy kind of products via social media, right? You see something really cool, they show a video on Instagram of how this thing works. Awesome. There's been a number of things that have shown up on my doorstep because of I saw something cool. But as far as coaching goes and really solving my problem, it's pretty rare that I would buy coaching based upon an ad. So we need to give them something to get them in our world. And so we can start to build that relationship and show them that we can solve their problem. So I think I did a better job explaining that later than I did earlier. So I apologize for you that listened all the way through. We kind of figured that out through talking, or figured out a better way to articulate it towards the end. So paid ads can be awesome once we figure it out, but we got to be willing to kind of tweak some things as well and be able to work on it and to be able to get like an effective ROI on it. So we talked about ROI at the beginning. Goal we're going for is we want to acquire our customer for about 1/3 of the lifetime value of that customer. So if a customer typically pays us $3,000, all in from start to finish, if we can get that customer for $1,000 or less, right, acquire that customer for that, then you're going to be in a really good spot for building a really nice business. So things to think about. If you do have questions, definitely drop them in the chat. Tag me in the Facebook group, and I'm happy to answer them there, or do another Build the CEO on it. And also, if you do want to talk about any of these aspects, if you want to talk about your audience, if you want to talk about your offer, if you want to talk about your conversion, what that looks like, I'd love to have you on the show. Just hit me up and we can just talk about it like we would in any coaching session. I can ask a bunch of questions, help you get some clarity, and ultimately, like at the end of the day, right, we're trying to change more lives, right? And sales is a part of that process. And so we need to get good at these concepts of marketing and sales, because it's going to allow you to help more people. So that is all for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. My name is Trevor, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.